Dreamcast. I am your host, Denise Walsh. I combine science, scripture, and stories that will inspire you to dive deep, break through your own personal glass ceiling, and design a life of your dreams. Welcome back to the Dreamcast. In today's episode, I'm interviewing my sister-in-law, Bailey Walsh. I have known her since she was 10 years old and have seen her transform about every aspect of her life in the last 17 years. Not only did she transform her health, going from a Dorito-loving, Coke-drinking teenager to a plant-based enthusiast, she has transformed her career path time and time again. And I think that when you listen to her story, you will see that by focusing on what you already love, you can too. She is a digital marketer, brand specialist, and has been able to work all over the country remotely using her gifts and skills. So I know you are going to glean a lot from this interview, so let's get to the episode. Welcome, Bailey, to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Denise. I'm excited to be on.
Awesome. Well, I am really eager for our guests to get to know you because when I think of somebody who has designed their own dream, I think of you. Over the past several years, you have gone from a writer right out of school into all things digital marketing, and opportunities continue to present themselves to you. So why don't you share with us a little bit about who you are?
Yeah, so I didn't always know what I wanted to do. I just knew that I wanted more freedom than the typical 9 to 5, and I wanted to enjoy the work that I was doing. So, I wasn't that person that had one clear passion or purpose for my life, but I knew I had a knack for writing and I wanted to pursue it. So that's what I did. I went to school for journalism initially, but I realized pretty quickly that English and creative writing were a better fit. So I switched my major no less than a semester in, and I'm so glad that I did because it really led me to where I am now. But really, it was in that first year of college that I stumbled into two things that shaped the rest of my college years and ultimately led me into the work that I'm doing now. So the first thing that I did was I started writing for a satirical newspaper on campus. I can remember picking it up off the sidewalk at one of the, the newsstands, and I thought, this is awesome. Like, it was so funny, it was so edgy, and I just knew that I had to be a part of it. So I originally just did it for fun. I did it to meet some new people, to have a creative outlet. But, a couple months into writing, I thought, gosh, this could be so much bigger than it is. I saw the potential that the paper had, but I wasn't super happy with the editor of the paper on campus. It wasn't anything personal about her, but I just didn't think she was running it as well as she could. And so that kind of led me to get in touch with the senior editor above her. And I asked if she was going to be the editor again next year. And he was like, well, I think so, but we haven't really had a conversation about it. Why? I told him that I didn't love the way she ran things, and I didn't know if I would personally stick around as a writer again the following year if she was the editor. So he took me by surprise with his next question. He goes, well, do you want the job? And I wasn't expecting that, but I said, yeah, I would. So after that, I became the editor-in-chief for the next 3 years. I had so much fun doing it. It was really one of the highlights of my college years. I had total creative freedom, as to what the paper looked like week after week. And I learned so much along the way just about my own writing style, editing, managing a team. And it was just really cool for me that people would come up to me and they would tell me how much they loved the paper. And, between the circulation going up, going from a few thousand copies to 9,000 copies a week and people telling me how much they loved it, I got to a point where I was like, hey, I must be pretty good at this. And so that was, one of those first light bulb moments of writing isn't just something I'm kind of good at. It's, it was a strength of mine, writing, editing. So that's really the first thing. The second thing I stumbled into was working for my brother, Brandon, AKA your husband, as you guys were building your business. And he was really working toward becoming an expert of digital marketing himself. So I had never really done anything in the digital marketing space before, but he seemed pretty confident that I would catch on, and it meant extra cash for a broke college student. So I was all about it. And, it didn't take long for me to see that my writing skills, what the kind of writing that I was used to, could be applied online, to write blog posts, copywriting, ghostwriting, and a whole lot more. So the more I got involved, I realized, hey, I kind of had a knack for marketing and branding too. I'd write copy for an ad and it would perform just as well or better than one of Brandon's, or I'd write a blog post that got really great traffic. And so that was another one of those light bulb moments of, hey, I'm good at this too. And so then the gears started turning, like, how can I use this? I knew that English wasn't necessarily a super marketable degree. It's not like English majors are in super high demand, after graduation. I knew I wasn't going to have job opportunities flying at me. But this was around the time that, online marketing was really starting to explode. And I thought, gosh, if I could combine my writing skills with some of these other skills and get good at this, that's going to make people want me. That's going to make people want to hire me. So even though I kind of stumbled into the newspaper and the digital marketing work, they just meshed so well together. It really gave me a space to discover those skills and strengthen those skills for just writing, editing, marketing, branding, etc. And that was really exciting for me.
One of the things that I love about your story is that you had a passion and you pursued it. And comes a time when you say, I think I want to do this. And then you flip over and you say, I am doing this and I'm good at it. How did you continue to focus on those strengths to help them grow?
Yeah, it was, like I said, I knew that I kind of had a knack for writing, but it wasn't until I just started writing and writing and writing that I realized how good I was. So whether it was writing blog posts or writing copy for ads, or, sometimes that meant writing a headline 20, 30, or 40 times. But I just knew that the more I did it, the better I was going to get. And it's one of those things. Writing is like a muscle. So the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And I just kept practicing. And then, when it came to the digital marketing stuff, I just wasn't afraid to fail. That was one thing that's, has always served me well, is that I've been willing to try something new. I had no idea I had no clue what this whole digital marketing thing was when I started. But I said, I'll give it a shot. I'll see if I can make this work. And so even though sometimes I didn't know what I was doing or I was uncomfortable, I was willing to try it, fail, and then try again. And ultimately, just through practice, just by taking action and doing it, I got really good at it.
One thing that Bailey has always been good at is adding value. She asked us if she could work with us after she graduated from Michigan State. And at first my thought was, no, go get a real job like the rest of us and suffer. But she had already started adding so much value to our family, into our business, that by that point we needed her. And I think, Bailey, that's something that you've always done. You haven't just stayed the same. You've always said, what's the need that I can fill? And then you go do it, most of the time without even being asked. And that's the same thing that happened with your writing skills and digital marketing. It seems to me like you've had your eyes open. What can I learn next? And then you go learn it and apply it. And because of that, your skill set has grown immensely.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, so many people are concerned with their weaknesses and how can they improve on their weaknesses, when really if they just focused on what they're good at, what they love, what they feel excited about, they would be able to add so much more value to the people around them by focusing on making their strengths even stronger. So that is one thing that I've made a point to do. I certainly have my weaknesses. I'm not great at math. I'm not great at science. I'm not great at a lot of things, but I knew I was good at writing. And once I started the marketing, I had fun doing it. I had fun testing out different ads. I had fun, writing different headlines and seeing which one performed better. So I think that if you're someone who's wondering, okay, how can I get better at this? How can I get better at this? And it's a weakness of yours, look at what you're good at and see how you can get even better.
Because when you're passionate about something, it comes naturally. You do it for hours and time passes so fast. You don't even realize it because you're kind of in your zone and you're doing what you were created to do, what makes you tick. And Bailey, it sounds like staying in your lane it kept you motivated because you didn't have to gear yourself up to get to work. Like you were excited to get to work because you were doing something that you loved.
Absolutely. There's this awesome quote by Howard Thurman, and he says, "Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go do it, because what the world needs is people to come alive."
That's amazing.
And I think,
Perfect.
yeah. And I think about you, Denise, like when you started off, you went into psychology because you had a passion to help people, but then you were stuck in a job that you didn't love for several years. And you thought that that's what you were meant to do. But once you got exposed to your business and saw, oh my gosh, I can help so many more people, that made you come alive. And that really is what the world needs. There's too many people who are in a job that they hate and wondering how they can change it.
So you focused on your strengths, you continued to learn skills. What opportunities came your way because of all of this?
Well, like you said, I kind of offered up my skills to you guys to work full time, but I had also been offered a full time job opportunity with that newspaper in Chicago. And while I loved that newspaper, I had so much fun doing it, and it was a really special part of like my college years. I just knew that when I looked at both opportunities, what's going to help me have that lifestyle of freedom? What's going to allow me to kind of live life on my terms? And I knew that if I was working for entrepreneurs, I would be more likely to become an entrepreneur myself. So while I was working with you guys, like you said, I always focused on adding value, learning, growing. How can I get better? And there was a day when I was doing some follow-up on your behalf. I was essentially pretending to be you online, and I was having a conversation with a girl who was interested in the business, and we went back and forth for a while, and eventually she signed up. And that was yet another one of those light bulb moments of like, hey, maybe I can do this business too. And I pushed it away for a long time. I just thought, well, I'm not good at sales. And so I didn't pursue it. I thought that's not a strength of mine. I'm not a salesperson. But once I did it my way, and talked to her the way that I would have talked to her as if it was me and I was real, and we had this good conversation and she signed up, I thought, well, maybe I am good at this. Maybe I can do this. So once I signed up for the business, I really made it a point to use all those skills I had spent the last several years developing. Personal branding, online marketing, writing, all those things played a really big part in my success with the business. I'm created a brand that revolved around what I loved, what I was passionate about, and it allowed me to connect with people in a really cool way that was true to my personality. I would write online about myself, my lifestyle, my health journey, and that attracted people who connected with my personal story. And so even though I had never done a business like this before, when I focused on what I was good at and I made it a goal to add value to other people, the success really followed me. So that was one of the first opportunities that kind of came my way as I was focusing on what I was good at. And then throughout my, few years in the business, I continued to have success. I continued to grow my skills, and some people took notice. Some people on the corporate side of the company took notice of what I was doing, to do new things with social media marketing, to do new things with personal branding. And, someone on the corporate side asked me if I would be willing to kind of come in as a consultant and help her with her social media marketing, with her branding and that kind of thing. So that was one, yet again, another opportunity that I wasn't expecting, but it fell into my lap, and I knew it was a place where I'd be able to use my skills to focus on my strengths. And so I said yes to that too. And, in that process of starting my business with It Works, I was able to move to California, which was always a huge dream of mine. I knew I could work from anywhere. And so I've been living in California for about 1.5 years now. And now with this other opportunity that has come into my life in the last year, I am now moving to Florida and getting ready to do that in the next month.
One of the reasons why I love your story, Bailey, is because so much growth has happened in your personal life and in your skill set over the past few years. You continue to have your eyes on what you can learn, you do it, and then other people notice and ask for your help, and you have just continued to grow your network. So congratulations on everything you've experienced over the past few years. You totally deserve it. And I'm excited to see how you continue to grow. So is there anything else you want to mention to our listeners before we end the call today?
Yeah, like I said before, I feel like there are just so many people out there who love doing something, yet they're still in a job they hate. And, I get it. We all have our reasons for that. But what I've come to realize as I've worked online and we're in this age of technology where you can really do anything is that if you have a passion, you can find a way to make money from it. If you love crocheting, you can start an Etsy store and sell your scarves or your blankets or whatever it is that you love crocheting. If you love cooking, you can start a food blog and charge money for meal plans or grocery lists. If you love beauty and makeup, you can become an influencer on Instagram or YouTube, and brands will literally pay you to use their makeups and their makeup and products in front of your followers. So I just, for everyone listening, I just want to encourage you to think about what you love and how you can get creative with it. How can you build a business from it? How can you build a brand from it? Because we truly are in such a unique time in society where the internet connects us with anyone and everyone. I don't care what you love or what you're passionate about. I guarantee you there's someone else out there who wants to learn from you or who could benefit from what you know about that topic or that subject. So I just think it's so cool that we can make our own opportunities and businesses with what we love if we get creative enough. So that's just what I would urge you to do. Focus on what you're good at. Focus on how you can add value and then get creative. You don't have to be stuck in that 9-to-5 box anymore because there's just so many opportunities out there.
Awesome. And it's true. When we focus on our strengths grow. We're more motivated to make changes. We stay passionate and the weaknesses get better too. I know when I first got started in our business, I was looking left, I was looking right. I was thinking, maybe I need to be more like them. Maybe I need to be hipper or cooler or more outgoing. And once I realized that I already had everything I needed to experience success in whatever way that what looked for me, I was able to settle into myself, focus and grow that area. And I can tell you my attitude about the world changed and things started moving much, much faster because I was excited about it, because I knew I was doing something that connected with me. So guys, my question to you is, what are you good at? What are some natural things, natural skills, natural gifts that you have that could be beneficial to others? Write down a list of things that come naturally to you. For example, Brandon would tell me, Denise, you're a good friend. Just do that. And I thought, oh, I can do that. I can call people back and be a good friend. I can post positive things on social media. I can share my fitness journey and fitness tips and being a mom and all the things that connect with me. I can share that. And guess what? The more I did, the more I grew. So that's my question to you guys as well. What are you good at and how can you use that to bless and influence the world? Thank you, Bailey, so much for your time today. I so appreciate your story and you sharing with our listeners. And everyone else will be back in a few days. So make sure you stay tuned and remember to dream big.